And France is in the grip of protests once again challenging Emmanuel Macron's austerity drive. Teachers, train drivers, pharmacists and hospital staff walked off the job. Teenagers blocked school entrances across France in a nationwide day of protests against looming budget cuts and unpopular fiscal reforms. The strikes disrupted public transport, schools, pharmacies and even nuclear power production as unions demanded that President Emmanuel Macron's government abandon austerity-style plans, increase taxes on the wealthy and channel more money into public services. As Interior Ministry sources said, up to 800,000 people were expected to join strikes and demonstrations nationwide. France's main unions issued a joint statement denouncing the previous government's brutal and unfair fiscal policies. France's budget deficit last year was nearly double the EU's 3% limit. New Prime Minister Sébastien Lecornu, appointed as François Bayrou, was forced to step down in the last wave of protests and faces the twin challenge of appeasing investors while gathering enough parliamentary support to pass a 2026 budget. His predecessor Bayrou was ousted over a controversial plan to cut 44 billion euros. Lecornu has signalled he may seek compromise but is yet to confirm whether Bayrou's proposals will be scrapped. The union said 1 in 3 primary school teachers were on strike nationwide, with nearly half of Parisians' teachers walking out. Regional train services were heavily disrupted, though most high-speed lines continued to run. Metro lines in the capital were suspended for much of the day as well, except during rush hour.
The choice is made maintaining a high level of dividends for companies at all costs, while, in fact, the state's primary budget is aid to businesses, amounting to 111 billion according to the parliamentary report. And yet, with this aid for the richest, along with the abolition of the wealth tax, etc., they tell us that public services and social security must be cut. We don't agree. We think the opposite is what needs to be done.
In our high school, we had coordinated all the cultural projects, the Spanish language outings, the movie outings, the theater option, and we're forced to meet today, mid-September, to tell everyone that we can't fund their project. And that's terrible for our colleagues.
Now, pharmacies across the country shut their doors after the pharmacists' union said 98% of its members plan to strike in protest at regulatory changes threatening their businesses. Elsewhere, protesters blocked traffic on highways near Toulon, while workers at nuclear utility EDF slightly reduced output, cutting power production by 1.1 gigawatts. Authorities deployed 80,000 police, supported by riot units, drones and armoured vehicle. More than 20 arrests were reported. By midday, more must have followed, and the unrest even rippled into the cultural sphere. Plans to transport the famed Bayeux Tapestry, a 70-metre-long medieval masterpiece chronicling the Norman invasion of 1066, were postponed due to these disruptions as well.
The government needs to understand that we are fed up with austerity, that there are real measures that need to be taken to save France, but these aren't the ones that need to be taken against workers. These are measures that need to be taken at the government level and the savings that need to be made.
Now, the French hard-left France Unbowed party leader Jean-Luc Mélenchon joined the protests as well. A test for Macron and Lecornu. The strikes and student-led blockades mark one of the largest coordinated actions against the government since Macron's contested pension reform last year, which raised the retirement age.
By calling for a strike and a demonstration, the unions have put on the table a number of demands that are clearly incompatible with Mr. Lecornu's political line. Therefore, the union issue is compounded by a political one. What kind of government is capable of taking social demands into account? That's the most important thing.
For Lecornu, as Prime Minister, these protests highlight the political storm awaiting him as he balances EU budget rules, investor pressure and public anger on the streets. Now let's take a look at how much money Donald Trump has made from his presidency in the current term. Over the last year, Beginning slightly before the election, he stirred up new businesses with a special focus on cryptos. His business interests range from entertainment to media to crypto and real estate. All these businesses are making money for the president. But how much? According to the Forbes calculations, crypto ventures have made Trump about $1 billion, lifting his net worth to an estimated $5.6 billion. That is more than double from just a year ago when his net worth was just $2.1 billion. Crypto has done more than just make Trump richer. It has also provided liquidity that the president so desperately needed. During his first term, Trump's wealth actually fell. However, this time around, there is a clear spike in his wealth. Much of that surge in Trump's fortune has come because of him being the president and his crypto businesses. According to Forbes, about a year ago, Trump was short on cash. Back then, he needed more than $500 million as bonds for legal cases against him, but had only about $400 million on his balance sheet. The majority of that money was for a fraud case he lost and is currently appealing. Now, however, Trump holds roughly $900 million in liquid assets, about half of which come from his crypto ventures. There are hundreds of millions, perhaps billions more on the way. World Liberty Financial, one of Trump's ventures, is only the beginning to ramp up. Ethics experts have criticized Trump for conflict of interest. Reason? Trump stands to gain financially from sectors in which he is also responsible for formulating policy as the U.S. president. However, according to the White House, Trump is isolated from the companies that bear his name and instead has handed over the reins to his family. In response to Australian journalist John Leon's question, the president reiterated, "My kids are running the businesses." Despite the ire from Trump, Leon's question remains on several minds. Is it appropriate, President Trump, that a president in office should be engaged in all these business activities? Now in Pakistan, a bombshell has just dropped. The Khyber Pakhtunkhwa chief Ali Amin Gandapur's advisor has made a startling revelation. Advisor to the Chief Minister on Accountability, retired Brigadier Muhammad Musaddiq Abbasi, revealed that according to a leaked Commonwealth Observer Group report, the elections in February 2024, were riddled with problems and it was stolen away from Imran Khan. He claimed that report didn't just highlight electoral chaos, it delivered a scathing indictment of Pakistan's institutional entanglement in politics. The report, Abbasi claims, calls for nothing less than a seismic shift, new binding rules of engagement for all state institutions, including the very powerful military. Its message is clear and uncompromising: to end political manipulation. The state must retreat from the shadows and restore true independence to Pakistan's fragile democratic machinery. Abbasi claims that the leaked report also calls for independent judiciary in Pakistan. Imran Khan's party, the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, has already demanded the release of Commonwealth Observer Group report on the 8th of February 2024 elections. PTI's demand comes after a news outlet claimed that foreign observer missions had allegedly buried the report after finding the irregularities in the poll process. Now, the aide revealed that report paints a dark, disturbing portrait of what truly unfolded ahead of the 8th of February elections. According to its findings, this was not just a flawed democratic process, it was a systematic dismantling of political opposition. People disappeared without a trace. Homes were stormed in the dead of night. PTI offices were sealed shut. Basic human rights were trampled. It was never a level playing field. The fundraising efforts were blocked, rallies banned. Dissent was not just discouraged, it was hunted. And at the heart of it all was one name, Imran Khan. The former Prime Minister was sentenced multiple times to keep him out of the elections, and the law was used as an organized weapon. Now, the Chief Minister's aide said the report questioned the lifting of the life ban on former Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif despite his court disqualification and the denial of PTI's election symbol. It also noted that electronic media laws were altered to target individuals, journalists were killed with no accountability, and the internet was shut down on election day. When the Election Commission was asked, it claimed the issue was beyond its authority. The report revealed Abbasi further alleges the report pointed out that the forms provided to polling agents about election results were different from those which were uploaded on the election panel's website, and that the Election Act was changed to appoint retired judges and reverse the Supreme Court's decisions. Abbasi didn't just stop there. He insists that according to the leaked report, the official Secret Act of Pakistan was changed after the 9th of May riots, and that too retrospectively to validate the illegal act of civilian trial in military courts, as well as the trial of PTI founder Imran Khan in the Cypher case. Just to recall for the viewers, in early 2023, protests took place in Pakistan after the Punjab police attempted to arrest the former Prime Minister of Pakistan, Imran Khan, nearly 1 year after his removal from office. This came after Khan failed to appear before a court in relation to the Toshakhana case, leading to a non-bailable arrest warrant being issued. Finally, on the 9th of May, Khan was arrested, immediately triggering widespread violent unrest across Pakistan, with tens of thousands of Khan supporters participating. Demonstrations, vandalism, clashes with police officers and soldiers. And Donald Trump's war on America's late-night comedians has claimed a new casualty. Popular late-night host Jimmy Kimmel's show was abruptly taken off air just hours after U.S. government threatened to cancel broadcasting licenses over comments Kimmel made about the killing of conservative influencer Charlie Kirk. The stunning decision by its ABC network to remove one of America's most influential late-night shows was blasted by critics as government censorship. But it was celebrated by the president himself. Donald Trump, who has had a long brush with comedians who mock him. On his Truth Social page, Trump posted, "Great news for America. Congratulations to ABC for finally having the courage to do what had to be done." The president, who also cheered in July when Stephen Colbert's show was cancelled, then turned his sight on two more rivals. Trump wrote, that leaves Jimmy Fallon and Seth Meyers, two total losers on fake news NBC. Their ratings are horrible. Do it, NBC, he said. In Hollywood, where Kimmel's show is recorded, audience members were turned away at studio doors. Another audience member described the cancellation as deeply un-American.
Any show that's on TV that speaks out against Donald Trump, he's trying to shut down, and we're not losing our right to watch what we want to watch, but we're losing our freedom of speech. You know, I mean, this is something that happens in, you know, Russia and North Korea and China and state-run TVs, you know, stuff.
Just a week after Kirk, a Trump ally was shot dead on Utah Valley University campus. Conservatives, including Trump, have blamed the radical left, but police say 22-year-old Tyler Robinson acted alone and have charged him with murder. On Monday, Kimmel addressed the killing in his opening monologue. He accused the MAGA movement of exploiting Kirk's death for political points and mocked Trump for pivoting from a question about his friend's death to boasting about a ballroom he's building at the White House. Kimmel quipped, "This is not how an adult grieves the murder of somebody called a friend. This is how a 4-year-old mourns a goldfish." And on Wednesday, FCC Chairman Brendan Carr raised the stakes, openly threatening the licenses of ABC affiliates airing Kimmel's show. Speaking to a right-wing podcaster, Carr said that it's past time these affiliates push back. We're running the possibility of license revocation from the FCC. Within hours, Nexstar, one of the largest owners of ABC affiliates, said it would stop carrying the program. The company is currently pursuing a multi-billion-dollar merger that requires FCC approval. ABC, owned by Disney, then pulled the show nationwide. Kimmel himself has not commented, and his representatives did not respond to queries either. The White House, meanwhile, has already fired repeated broadsides at institutions critical of Trump. From universities to law firms to the media, several outlets including ABC and CBS have reportedly made large settlements to avoid Trump's lawsuits, with funds going towards his future presidential library. Democrats are sounding the alarm. Senator Ben Ray Lujan posted on social media saying that Trump and FCC Chair Carr made it clear, fall in line or be silenced. Their words. California Governor Gavin Newsom wrote, buying and controlling media platforms, firing commentators, cancelling shows, these aren't coincidences. It's coordinated and it's dangerous. Outside Kimmel's studio in LA, some supporters gathered in protest and have expressed their concerns about what really might be at stake in Trump's America.
I'm devastated. I'm really upset. I'm really upset. This is free speech. We are supposed to have free speech in this country, and this is not free speech. He didn't say anything wrong. I'm really upset.